Hello, this is Mike, NoStressMike.com. Hey, now, what I want to talk about is when you, we all make mistakes, and you never get too old to make mistakes. I've said before, I make a lot of mistakes. Percentage-wise, it's the same percentage as probably most people make. But the thing is, I make a lot of decisions. Matter of fact, daily I make decisions. And a lot of times, most of the time, they're just little dinky decisions. No big deal. What pair of shoes to wear, what shirt do I wear? Most of the time it's little decisions, and but there are times when I make big decisions, and you make these decisions on big decisions. Big decisions. You have to think them out, weigh them out, and what we talk about morals. Making if it's a moral decision that you're going to have to make, or if it's just one for you personally, you have to decide. When you're making decisions that involves other people, then you have to decide what are their intentions, and even me and everybody, their intentions are such, and a lot of times they start with good intentions, and then later it kind of changes. It depends on the people. Now we're right back to moral people. Always are considered the moral position when they make these decisions, and when you're not always going to be. I try my best to stay with moral people, because with moral people, you have a moral responsibility to communicate, to keep everybody in touch and stuff like that. When people don't work with morals, then like I say, their intentions change, and but they're always motivated by something. Like I say, I'm motivated by something like everybody else, but my motivation is guided by morals, and sometimes I have to deal with people who don't have the same moral intentions, I guess you'd say, or maybe their morals aren't of as high a standard as what I would do. I try not to. I really try to find people and deal with people that have the same moral standing as I do, or even higher, because when they have high moral standards and I associate with them, my standards will start rising also. And I've learned, for me, the higher the moral standards I can keep, the more pleased I am with life. Life is much more fun. Life is, I stay healthy, and it's just, everything is good about life when I do the morally proper thing. If I start screwing people and stuff, it just seems like things just get bad. That was many years. I learned that fact many years ago. Matter of fact, I don't think I've ever screwed people when I think about it. But there are people that are motivated And this is why I talk about greed. When people are motivated by greed, their intentions change a lot, because it's greed that motivates them. So in other words, if they think they can get more out of it, then their intentions will change. I mean, more money or financial gain, power, this type of stuff. Then it'll change. And I've noticed there's people that will get this, and their loyalties are, like I say, towards greed. They're towards anything other than morals. And what happens, that's where their loyalties go. And what happens is when they will ride something and take all the money they can get out of it, and some will just jump out. Just abandon ship. The rats leaving the ship. Some will do that. Some are so focused on greed that they take the boat all the way down. I mean, they ride it till it's on the bottom of the ocean, and that's because their loyalties are focused on the money or power or whatever it is that they're doing. Okay, it's another thing. Since my loyalties are to the person, it's easier for me to stay focused. And like I say, I will commit, and my focus and loyalties will be towards that person or that group of people. Now, blind loyalties is if when I see things that aren't right and I continue to do what it is I'm doing, that's not, for one thing, it's not moral, and it has nothing to do with morals. I mean, it's stupidity. When you let's just see what they're doing. See, they're sprucing up the place, making the place nice and pretty and all that. Oh yeah, while I got you here, I'm probably gonna forget about what's going on. Now I'm off subject, but here, you see these bricks are made of dirt. There's dirt, straw, gravel, and that kind of stuff. That's what those are. They're about 50 years old. And my wife used to live over here, in this part here. I don't remember how all this, I don't remember, now it's a garden, yes, but I don't remember if these were rooms at one time or what, but this is the way this is all structured. This was the house, I think it was the house on this side. I think this was the house. And it might have been the house down below there. It used to be their house. And then, like I say, they just grew, and like I say, they bought the property next door, and then they grew it, and they got the property next door and grew the hotel even more. But they started with their house here, and then they started adding. And right now, that's the house. That's the house they used, the last house that they lived in, and that's why I live in there now. But that's what it started, from something this simple. And well, I guess that's not all off subject, because their loyalties. My wife's mother and father had loyalties toward their children, and they were able to stay focused and make this whole complex. Now, see, that's far more than me. I can't stay focused that long. I do have limitations on that. Like I say, I'm a hyperactive, yeah, and so I can't stay focused that long on projects like that. That might be what's going on here. Back to the blind loyalties. I committed, and when I make a commitment, I stay with my commitment. But that doesn't mean I have to blindly follow this commitment forever and ever. And you do updates, is what you do. You do updates, and this way you are not blindly following. And I tell you, right, this is the first of the year. So I've been updating, asking questions, and I can see this coming, and I'm not going to wait. You follow your loyalties, you do. But once your loyalties aren't parallel with your morals, or you see, wait a minute, the loyalties is a one-way thing. You know, I'm loyal to you and I'm not getting this in return. Ooh, you better really reevaluate your loyalties. Otherwise, you will blindly follow. A good example would be a whore and her pimp. Her loyalties is to the pimp. She will do whatever the pimp wants her to do, and so her loyalties are blind loyalties. She's being abused, both physically, emotionally, mentally, financially. She's being abused, but she blindly follows her loyalty towards the pimp. Okay, and I know it's an extreme example, but the same the same tactics or techniques apply all the way down. They make you feel like you're supposed to be something, but you're not. You're just blindly following. I'm not blindly following anybody. I've never blindly followed. I always want to know exactly what our goals are, and we all stay focused on those goals. When you lose interest on going towards those goals, then whatever kind of partnership we have, as I see, is dissolved because you lost interest. That doesn't mean I'm going to blindly keep going that same direction when we're going to do it together. So you need to think about this when you are being loyal, and because loyalty is a big thing. I'm big on loyalty, and that's one reason why I make friends so fast, and I make good friends. They're long friends. I mean, I can go without seeing them for years, and then bam, oh man, when we see, we're friends again, because we nourish a loyalty towards each other, a friendship, a bonding, and but don't get that mixed up with blind loyalty, because the way to break that bond, to me, is to start doing immoral activities. Now, I say a lot of times when I'm here, when I'm gone, I don't know what kind of immoral activities you do, but it's being that respect towards each other is where loyalty comes from. It's not a one-way street. So you do not blindly follow your loyalty. Think. This is Mike, NoStressMike.com.